We started Culturally Speaking to indulge our curiosity about the way others live and a desire to inspire conversations about how we have far more in common than we realise.
Hey Neha.
Hey Janice, welcome back everyone, and welcome to Jadem. So Jadem is a former colleague, but actually a very good friend of mine as well. And to round out the season, we thought it'd be really great to have another guest join us to talk about what it means to be British. And I say that as a loaded question because, as Jadem will tell you from his story, his route and his journey to being in the UK is quite interesting, I think. So I guess I'll hand over without further ado. So Jadem, welcome. What brought you to the UK?
Okay, thank you guys for having me. Well, I always planned to be in the UK since I finished my school, right? And my trip got canceled twice for relationships. So I postponed it actually twice because first because I had a boyfriend at the time, and he said, "Oh, my first boyfriend actually," and he said, "If you go away, nothing is gonna work." Second time, it was actually with a guy who I moved in together, and it was the same reason. But the third time, I said, okay, if I'm not going now, forget it. That's never going to happen. So, yeah, actually happened 10 years ago. I came to the UK with the idea of just improve my English and go back to Colombia. When I finished my English course, I applied for a master application. I got a scholarship. I got the scholarship, so I decided to stay in the UK for another year. That's all. Because at the beginning, I didn't like it. Actually, why? Because I came in October, the weather, the sunset started like at 4, 5 p.m. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why, there is not such a light during the day. Why is too short? So I didn't enjoy it much. And also because I was living in the same place for 6 months and no one, even if you came across with the people by the door in the building, did even bother to say hi. They just completely ignored for 6 months. Like, come on, I've been living, in the same flat for 6 months. I see you like many days probably at the bus stop, at least say hi for decency, but nothing. So I used to hate the UK at the time. But well, 10 years passed, I'm still here. So right now I quite like it. I love it. But yeah, that was the main reason I came to UK. So when I finished my master, my boyfriend at the time, actually, I booked my flight with no return, and I told to my university to arrange my dissertation to be presented, on a Zoom or online because I didn't want to go back. I didn't have like any good reason to be back into the UK. The night before my flight, my partner proposed me, and I was shocked because I actually was packing on my luggage, and I was like, "Do you wanna marry me?" Like, but wait, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm not coming back. Well, do you decide? You decide. And that was the reason I actually stay in the UK. Because for love.
Wow. I mean, Neha was absolutely accurate when she said your story to the UK is full of twists and turns and lots of love. When you first came, apart from the whole, people not saying hi, which I have noticed, by the way, and I'm one of those weird people who always make the effort. Even in the lift, I will say, "Hey, how you doing?" And then people look at me like I'm insane. But fortunately, I actually know everybody on my corridor, so we're all friends. We go to each other's places for dinner and things like that. What was surprisingly similar to your culture, actually?
Well, I had to say that nothing is similar to my culture from here. Nothing. We are like opposite, the.
Can we also just say, share what culture you're from, but in case anyone didn't catch it when you were talking?
I'm from Colombia original. That's why probably my accent. And Colombian is quite friendly. It's happy country. Everyone is so welcome and warm. And like you say, everyone as well know each other. Even if you live like probably 10 blocks apart from your house, you know everyone in your neighborhood. So because it's so close at the same time, why the UK, it seems like no one cares about no one. Some point I'm not gonna say that that's quite nice because it's like you do whatever you want as long as you follow the rules, and it's good because you are not judged by anyone. But at the same time, it's quite sad, like not even get to know the people who live around you because you don't know when you will need that person. For example, I gonna tell you something that was quite shocking for me. It happened like 3 years ago, or actually 4 years ago, before COVID. The guy who lived next door by the next garden, it was an elder guy. I think as well he was an immigrant. He came from Australia, but he was an elder guy. He was already on his 80. I probably he was the only person who at the beginning I felt welcome by because he started talking to me because we share the garden, and this like a small there's only like we only had like a small fence that you can see at least the faces between each other, so that was good. Not like a high fence that you don't even know who is next door. Suddenly, one morning, it was a Saturday, the police was by the door in the garden, and it was like, what is going on with Rob? And I woke up even Martin, the police is in the next garden. What's going on? So I asked, and even the police came to interview us because Rob passed away a week before the police arrived, and no one did notice. Not even the people living in the same building. No one else. And why was that? Is because the family, because it was a week without he doesn't contact them, or they tried to contact, but it didn't work. They probably report to the police in London that something probably was happening with Rob, and he was there for a week in his flat without no one noticed. I telling you that there are many histories about that in the UK for like the girl that probably died and she stayed in the flat for 2 years, whatever. But in Colombia, it wouldn't happen because even if you don't see the same neighbor that goes to the off license to buy milk, if you don't see it that day, someone probably will go and knock the door and ask, "Are you okay? Do you need something?" But here, no. So that kind of coldness is like a wow, why?
I remember you told me this story and you were like, this is why I never want to live alone in case this happens to me in this country. And I think you're right. That sense of like isolation has only got worse, I think, in the
Hmm.
last couple of years in this country.
Exactly.
I remember once, Neha, you were really busy with work. Like you had absolutely all the legit reasons to be off the radar. And I was messaging her like, "Are you okay? I haven't heard from you. Are you okay?" Because I'm the type of person who would message people every day. And if you look at mine and Neha's WhatsApp chat, it's literally perpetual. And I remember then afterwards, I felt really stupid about it. But after hearing your story, I'm like, nah, I think I'm gonna keep doing this. Like if I don't hear from friends for a while, I'll just check up.
Probably the only thing that we had in common now that the World Cup is going on is the love for football. That's probably
Yes.
the only similarity that we have, or the UK and Colombia has. The love, that craziness love for football. That's the only thing that I can think about that we have in common. The rest, no.
One is better than none. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. And I'm gonna say who, but yeah.
Where else have you lived apart from London in the UK? Have you always lived in London? Or
Yeah, I always live in the same, actually in the same flat. So since if I move in, and even we both, it's the same flat. So I haven't had the chance of living anywhere else. I just travel inside the UK, but my home is actually this flat.
I didn't know that, you know. I've known you a long time, but I never knew that. There you go. I learned something today.
Yeah. And something that, for
um,
example, when I came here to this flat, I didn't like it either because, you know, it's so quiet. and around Southern Park, so there is no like it's not a touristic place. There are not many shops, not that many restaurants. Probably one off license like a like 5 minutes walk, and that's all. But now I value that when you work in the city, all the stress, the everything that happened across the city of London, and you just get just like so close at the same time, and get like my friend called it, it's because you live in a farm or in a cottage outside London. Well, I can take that because it's that place that I can like retire for, for all the stress of the city. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that. Even Niha doesn't want to visit me either as well. So yeah, I like it.
But that's just because you're south of the river, not because of where you live. Like, it's gorgeous, but you know how I feel about going south of the river. You know this.
High five on that. We share the same thoughts around being north of the river.
Yeah, I know.
I need passport stamps to go south of the river.
How dare you? Oh my god.
So the only place south of the river I frequent is actually Borough Market. That's as far I'd go, and it's by the river.
But well, Borough Market is only like 15 minutes bus ride, so we are close. Sometimes, in summer I go all the way up to Borough Market, by foot by the riverside because in summer it's quite nice to that area.
Yes. I also don't really take buses, and that is also the only route I do because there is a bus that stops at London Bridge Station, and that's the only bus route I take.
I tell you what, guys, I'll meet you all at Borough Market. I only have to get one like connection down. Janice can get the bus. You can walk. That I can deal with.
Okay. And actually, on a similar vein, I'm really interested to know what were some of your, I guess, preconceptions or perhaps misconceptions you had about British culture before you came?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, right? I told you that anyhow, because I remember the first place I visited on my own when I arrived to London was Liverpool Street, Liverpool Street Station, and I was surrounded by, London is a multicultural people, and I saw people from every single probably country, but not the what you see on TV or probably in Hollywood, the white, blue eyes, British people, And I was did I land in the wrong place? Because this is not London, right? I was you know, like a probably Hollywood or all that kind of business they sell that everyone in the UK or everyone who is British is a white, blue eyes because it's the proper English kind of nation. When it's a lie, because actually UK is a multicultural country. And probably there are many like languages because at the same time I was like, wow, everyone speaks here their own language. It's like even sometimes I had to be careful what I said on my phone when I was talking in Spanish because I realized that many people on the tube on whatever I was talking, they was actually like overhearing what I was talking. I was like, okay, I need to be careful what I say because I don't want to sound rude with someone who doesn't even know me, right? But probably that was the main shock that I didn't know at the time that London was so rich in that kind of sense. And also about the food. I was imagining the food here was gonna be the most amazing thing because everything is created in the UK or England, and it said everyone else. That wasn't the reality. When I came here and find out that the British cuisine is so plain and boring, I was like, oh my god, how I gonna survive in this country without a proper meal? Like, I mean, it's so sad that people who is going to the office, they just go to any kind of shop and buy a cold sandwich for the counter. That's not a proper meal. I was like, you don't have that in Colombia as a lunch.
But explain to everybody how lunchtime and dinner time is different in Colombian culture, because it's very different in South.
Exactly. For example, we had a say that you had to eat like a king, right? And probably have a lunch like a kind of or a salary worker, and have a dinner like a poor people. Why we say that? Because we have like a proper in for us the breakfast is one of the most important meals because you get the energy or the protein from there, and we have to have a proper warm lunch. We have to have at least a main course and a side. That side could be like a salad or a soup because we always have to have soup. Even though Colombia is a warm country and it's a summer, we don't care that it's gonna be hot. We have to eat a warm soup. And for dinner, we have just something small, like a small bite, because you're gonna go to bed, you have to rest, and you have to sleep properly. While in the UK, it's completely the opposite. You can skip breakfast because you're in a rush. You just go and grab a coffee and whatever, and you feel that that's okay. Have that kind of meal from whatever shop you want to, or a cold sandwich. But for dinner, you have the main big meal, and go to bed like probably 2 or 4 hours later. So I haven't changed my that, for example, I haven't changed my routine in that sense. I always keep my meals like I was living in Colombia.
I know, because when I invite you out to dinner, I'm always conscious that it's so against everything that you want to do, because you want to. Really, we should just go for lunch dates. That's what we should do.
We should go for a brunch.
Yeah, and I love brunch. Yes, I love brunches, so that's good.
I mean, we love the bottomless mimosas, let's be honest. But Janice was nodding so much when you were talking about soup, because we've talked about soup so much, because it's the same in your culture, right?
Soup is vital to me. Every single day, I try to make some soup because in Chinese culture, around like kind of medicinal eating, we have different soups for different seasons. And the ingredients will have different purposes, right, for your body. And yeah, so I grew up having soup every single day,
Yeah, the same.
basically. And that is not something I will give up. Can I quickly share, for the sake of sharing, one of my biggest culture shocks coming here is the separate hot and cold tap. I just...
What is it about bathrooms? Everybody that, like, we spoke to last week, we spoke to Adewale, and bathrooms were a whole other situation. Hot and cold taps. Okay, hit me. Go on.
Why? Just why?
They're just a throw, like they're from the old times, right? Where the plumbing hasn't caught up.
But the old times was a long time ago.
Well, we're very behind. What can I say?
The thing,
also, I don't know why I'm defending this, because it's not as if I sat there and was responsible for all the plumbing in Britain.
Look, all I'm saying is it's time to upgrade your taps, because nobody in their right minds will use purely hot water or purely cold water in the winter. It's just not a thing. Just get a little, I don't know what you call it, something that joins them, at least. Yeah, because that was one of the things that when I came, because I was in a boarding school and we all had like a sink in our rooms. And I was like, how am I supposed to, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold to get warm? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, that's why when we refurbished the flat, we changed those taps because it didn't make sense for me either. Like, why do I need to, like two taps, one for the hot and one for the cold? How am I gonna miss them? Like you say, holding in one hand and the other one. So that didn't make sense for me either.
What assumptions do people have about you in Britain coming from your culture? Like, what things do you find people say?
Can I throw in drugs?
Exactly. You just answer for me. And probably right now or nowadays, that kind of mentality has changing, or it's been changing, right? Because even before coming to the UK, I went to Canada, and the first thing that someone asked me when someone invited me to a party was, "Oh, did you brought with you that white powder that you are the best known for?" I was like, No, but if you want, I can have a flower for you because I had a roses. Colombian as well is for beautiful roses. The guy stayed well like silent because probably that was the first time that someone said that to me on my face, like without knowing me, and he found that so rude. But right now, I just take it like like a joke, like, oh no, my sorry, but I can't. I mean, I'm gonna disappoint you, but I don't give it for free. So, for example, I just made that kind of comment. But it happening like people is still asking like, you're from Colombia, you've had like the best. Yeah. Oh yes, exactly. We had the best womans, we had the best flower, we had the best coffee in the world. So that's how you should know Colombian for. But yes, that's the main misconception that people had about me when I say I'm Colombian.
Has it got worse since?
No, the thing is that when someone is going to introduce me, right? Probably you can see me right now. I'm freckled, kind of ginger brownish or brunette, uh, and white. People make assumption that I'm not even Latin American. They think that I'm from Europe or Dublin. But when they hear me talking, because of my thick accent, I say, okay, yeah, you're not from here. Are you Spanish or Italian? You nope. But because of my look, no one think that I'm from Colombia until I say, like, yeah, it's because Colombian as well was a kind of no multicultural country, but when he was, conquered by Spanish, and after that, other kind of countries arrived. So all that mix of culture and races make like we as well look different in our own country as well. And yeah, that's what happened to me and keep happening. Even when I travel abroad, where are you from? Like, Colombia. Oh my God. I didn't realize that you're from Colombia. I just came back, for example, on Monday from Gran Canaria, where I can speak Spanish. People asking me, your Spanish is so nice. Where do you learn it? I was like, well, that's why. Oh, but you don't look like Colombia. Right. Yeah. But yeah, I am. So that happened to me all the time. Now I'm happy with that more than the drugs. So I can take that one. Yeah, Colombia, I can share my passport.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is Shakira, right? Like that kills all debate.
Exactly.
All you need is Shakira.
Or even right now, people who love, for example, Modern Family, even that happened to me. That happened to me in Gran Canaria. Oh my God, you are from with Sofia Vergara. She's my favorite. Yes, I'm from there. You see, I sound like her. We are from the same country. I love that.
So I'm going mad over here because every time I see Hardem in person, or when we're talking, I always make him say,
So you want me to say just in my country? We say. Oh my God, I love Sophia. Actually, yesterday because she was celebrating the Thanksgiving, and I follow her, of course. And I was like, I just brought on one of her reels, like, please, can you just invite me and have me there because we can talk in Colombian way. Hopefully, she one day gonna at least like it. I don't expect a reply, but she can just like my comment.
life made. If Sofia Vergara liked my comment, I'd feel like my life was
Exactly.
validated.
Yeah.
It's like the memes that I send you where you're like, I'm so smart in my head in Spanish. And Hardem is very smart in real life, by the way, in English as well. I'd just like to add, like, he's very smart. But I can imagine, like, when you have to translate everything in your head first before you speak.
Like Sofia Vergara say. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's. I was going to ask you if the drugs references got worse after Narcos.
I mean, when the season, I think was like a fourth season about Colombia, right? It was worse because I think people stop about thinking about Colombia as the drug country or the drug dealers, Pablo Escobar. But I didn't want to watch it. But I started watching it because even friends start asking me about that. And I want to take like the reference for what they can see from Netflix and what was the reality to probably have a proper argument because I couldn't just agree or disagree without watching what they were talking about. Of course, it's a drama. They had to change it for, to make an audience and make money. They had to change some aspect. But since they start showing like what actually people from Colombia suffer from the drug crisis that we faced long time ago, people probably assume that it wasn't that good to be called other one from Colombia that was related to the drugs, because many people was killed because of that. So I think that that was good at some point, because educate more other people who didn't know the real history or what was behind, or all those years that Colombia suffered from the Pablo Escobar empire and all that kind of stuff, that the narcos, all those drug dealers that they still even in Colombia. And when they knew that that spread across the not only Colombia, like Mexico, that kind of other country, because they try to probably be closer to the United States because it's the bigger market or whatever, people realized that it wasn't good to relate someone from Colombia just with drugs. So now I can say that it's okay. It's not the same as before, but it's not worse. I think people need to realize that it's not nice to be called someone just because of the bad things.
Is there anything else that has been weirdly shocking or things that you've had to adapt to living in this country that when you go back to Colombia, you realize how weird it is?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna probably tell you something like funny, because I know that people in the UK they only speak English. Even though here in college people can choose for this Spanish, French, they forget about that. They just take it for the subject to get the levels and bye. They don't even try to speak another second language. So it was hard for me at the beginning because my name is pronounced Hadem in Spanish, right? But when I arrive here and I try to make appointments and call and say my name, Hadem, people were like, "Excuse me, can you spell it for me?" Like, it's not even hard to say Hadem, but they didn't get it. So to make it easier for the non-Spanish speakers, or in general for the UK population, I just call my name in English way, Jadem. So and people get it straight away. I was used to that Jadem for 2 years before I went back to Colombia for the first time. So I go home and blah. So when once I was settled the following day, my mom was calling me, Hadem, like 3 times. And she was like, "What is wrong with you? Like, I'm calling you 3 times and you just keep ignoring me." Well, are you calling me? Yes, Jaden, Alfonso. So when she put the middle name, because we have as well first name and middle name, I was like, "Oh yeah, man, sorry. It's because I've been used to for 2 years being called Jaden and you're calling me Jaden." Was like, "It's me, right?" So that happened for me, like when I came to Colombia the first time. So right now, even work, yeah, people at work they try to call me the right way. Like, oh no, it's because your name should be pronounced Haden, so you don't need to. Yeah, now I realize that I should have done it, but okay. Probably I was bothered to people asking me, "Can you spell it for me, please?" every single time.
I was going to say, when we worked together, I feel like I always tried to call you Hardem, but everybody else called you Jadem. And then I questioned myself. I was like, have I got it wrong? But I'm so glad I stuck with Hardem. Yeah, we know all about wrong names.
The interesting thing is, Jadem wouldn't even be a name.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know what you mean about names. Not being able to get a name right in this country is hilarious. Did your family notice anything, or your friends in Colombia notice anything different about you when you went back?
No, actually, I mean, in my the way that I probably behave, no, I'm still the same essence for me. You even say like I quite extroverted, I can quite talkative. I know like a probably intro. I enjoy like getting to know people and quite sociable. So in that aspect, everything was fine. But when I went the first time, of course, I was dressing in a different way because I came to the UK. Probably the fashion here is more open to everyone. Like I can easily probably wear like probably a woman kind of accessory that in Colombia couldn't wear because it wasn't allowed. Or people will judge me. But even people who studied at the same college with me, they didn't recognize me at the time. But I was taking like it was a taxi driver. He took us to one of the shopping center, and the guy, because I sat on the front seat, he asked me like, where are you from? I was like, well, I'm from here. So this is my hometown. We went to the same college because I remember your face. Excuse me? It's because the way that you dress is not from this town. Yeah. You're telling me because of the way I look right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. It's because I live in the UK. That's probably one of the my the people from Colombia that recognize from me, or oh, this guy changed the way to dress. Also because of the lack of vitamin D, talking about the natural one from the sun, my color is get like a little bit darker, and in a hometown when it's like summer all year long, 34 degrees minimum, sunny all day long. So my color was probably brighter than what is right now. And the first time I went to a club, one of my friends said, "Oh my god, I knew that. You DIY your hair. That's not your real color right now because you are in the UK. You change your color." I was like, "No, bitch, that's my normal color. The thing that I'm missing that vitamin D, so the pigmentation is gone. That's why I never color my hair."
But every time I come back from Hong Kong in the summer, I'm like tanned.
Yeah.
Compared to being here. Yeah.
Yeah. The same.
My hair also goes ginger in the sun. I know nobody believes this, but it really does.
I will see you in January when you come back from India.
So, to round out our conversation, what do you think it means to be British in 2022?
Oh, well, I had to tell you, or like, when I came to this country, I didn't think about that, right? I just planned, like I told you at the beginning, that I'm gonna be here for 2 years, and that's all. But because everything changed, be part of the culture, a different country, and even because now I'm a British citizen, I know in my own opinion, or my personal opinion, it's not just I got a passport and that's all. I get to say that I'm British, and I can say that as well when I'm abroad at the face of the country. That kind of liberty that you get in here, as long as you follow the rules, you are supported by whatever, by the government, by kind of group. So I kind of love that you can be whoever you want to be, and you're not gonna be judged by no one. So that's actually what I feel proud of, being called British. Of course, there are some stuff that need improvement, but we are way ahead. For example, from my own country, because we had the rise and the support to be ourselves. So I can say that right now I'm proud to be British.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It's been hilarious, as always. We will catch up over a dinner. We're actually going to go for an Ethiopian dinner next week in the spirit of multiculturalism, because who'd have thought an Indian and a Colombian would go and eat Ethiopian in London?
Well, first of all, a Chinese, an Indian, and a Nigerian is going to have Japanese.
Yes.
So, thanks everyone for listening to another season on Culturally Speaking. Hope you guys enjoyed the season.
Please check out all the previous episodes in the season, and we'll be back very soon with season 6. Subscribe, rate, and review on your favourite podcast platform, and follow us on Instagram at Culturally Speaking Podcast. You can also check out our website, culturallyspeaking.co.uk, for a transcript of this episode. Share your stories or your show ideas with us by sending us an email at theculturallyspeaking@gmail.com.